Yes, everybody, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Alex Baggers on the old Zoom machine. Zoom's new, innit? Anyway,
they've done well, Zoom.
They've done all right, haven't they?
Really well.
We have got James Young joining us. What's happening, James?
Yeah, not bad. How's Paddock FC getting along? You first game in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
First game is tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll be watching Paddock FC, hopefully win, and then heading back in here for the watch along. So
3 wins tomorrow. Paddock FC, Paddock Reserves, Manchester United.
Yeah, and Alex is captain of the Real Reserves because he's.
Is that just an excuse to avoid Cam, the football team?
That's why I'm doing the reserves, so that don't.
Yeah, that's why.
Anywhere near Cameron.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
that's the reason.
I'm also old and slow, so that's why we're on the reserves.
I'm not as good as some of the ones in the first team.
Moving swiftly on.
Okay, right. So United are playing Palace then in the Premier League. It is the return of the Premier League. There's a couple of things to look forward to. You got Mason Greenwood continue his streak of banging things he's not supposed to by sticking it in the back of the net this weekend. We're going to have Donny van der Beek come in and show everyone what it's all about, Dutch style. And Ollie's Tricky Reds are returning. Anything else?
Ollie's been speaking this morning. He's had a go at England, which I know you'll be really happy about.
Yeah, I'm happy with because I actually think Gareth Southgate was bang out of order on 2 counts. 2 counts being, for starters, he was part of that Euro 96 crew that all went and got smashed and all went out, did the dentist chair and all that sort of caper pre-Euro 96. Yeah. Don't remember Paul Gascoigne and Terry Sheringham getting expelled from that team.
They were also quite good, weren't they? Is that not a little bit of what helped them out? They actually got on with each other.
It's a team spirit and that, yeah. So, for starters, that's hypocritical.
Yep.
And for 2, you do not come out and blame an abjectly dogshit performance on the back of a couple of teenagers who, let's be honest, probably weren't going to start, or certainly you should have had more options in your squad than to start both of those players. So how you're coming out and blaming shit team selection, shit tactics, shit formation on 2 18-year-old lads who like to get a bit of smash on the side, unbelievable.
Yeah. So Ollie, the quotes this morning, he said, the club worked really hard to when we gave Mason enough time on the pitch, exposure in the media. Then you come to the end of the season, we've had less than 2 weeks off and he's called up. I tried to give him a rest over the summer. We asked specifically to England that he should be given a rest. He needs it mentally and physically. And the first thing that happens, he's called up and right there in the press. And even before all the stuff went on, he was put up in the press conference.
Why
as well.
was Mason Greenwood put in a press conference?
Manchester United haven't put him in anything. Not one press conference and then done that. But he's then said, we've done what we can to protect him. I've done what I can to help him. When he comes back into the daily routine, it'll be fine. And he's also confirmed that he is available for tomorrow's game. So it's looking like he could play, which is good.
Yep. James, how do you think Southgate handled that?
I thought, like you were saying, I thought he handled it really poorly. But I think once again, it shows the English media are just out to get United players and any sort of young United player as well. I think the skin colour probably has something to do with it, not on Southgate's part, but to do with the media in terms of the hatred that we're already seeing with Greenwood. I mean, he's probably been one of England's most promising young players over the past 2-3 seasons. He's been scoring loads of goals for United. And then as soon as he does a couple of things that's stupid, you get certain tabloids that are digging out videos of him doing balloons from 2-3 years ago that is completely, irrelevant to the story. And I think it just sort of further emphasises why United fans specifically don't really have any time for England, because it just sort of seems like they just want to destroy any sort of young United players. You saw it with Beckham at 98. You saw it with Phil Neville as well at Euro 2000. And I support Uzbekistan, not fucking England, because I don't feel like I should belong to England for a number of different reasons. Also to do with their supporters seeming to love throw plastic chairs around whenever they go anywhere abroad.
I get what you're saying on the terms of don't feel like you belong to England. I remember me and McCullough went on Remembrance Day as well, 11th of November, England versus Scotland a couple of years ago. Right. And we sat one block over from the away fans, and they're all wearing Scottish regimental hats. They've all got kilts on. And I look at them and I go, well, I don't relate with them.
No.
And then I look to my right and there's guys in barber jackets with check shirts on. Who's 50 as fuck. He's got cotton trader fucking chinos on. And he's singing, he's got his arms out. And for starters, the bit of the ground we're sitting in, the entire stand is sat down. This clown standing up, arms outstretched, just shouting, God save the Queen. At this lot, and you're like, well, I don't really belong to that either. Yep. just feel like we've just snuck in somewhere we're not supposed to be.
Shit anthem anyway, God Save the Queen.
It's horrible.
Shit.
It's about as inspiring as finding out your dog just died.
Like, the Welsh one, that's great. You know how well they sing that and everything before the game. But then, like, the English one, it's just like, what is it? God Save the Queen. Like, it's very, very outdated, isn't it?
So outdated. Moving on.
Almost as outdated as our transfer policy, which is still
I'm
not,
hoping we don't talk
anywhere.
transfers, but looks like we're going to talk a bit of transfers.
No, not move on.
No transfers. Let's talk about goalkeepers as well, because Ollie came out today and mentioned the goalkeepers. It's great to see Luis Enrique talk about De Gea the way he did after the internationals. Coaches who work with the players have got that respect, which kind of hints towards that De Gea is probably going to be starting tomorrow, which I think
there's probably a lot of our viewers sitting there going, Dean Henderson should start. I think he was better than him last season. It's a perfectly valid opinion.
Yeah.
I personally think that he will start De Gea because I think Solskjaer doesn't necessarily court the controversy. I think he'd rather try and keep things calm as possible. And what's guaranteed to not be calm is you drop in De Gea for the first game of the season.
Yeah, I
think if he makes a mistake, you might have a case. But the absolute kerfuffle that you'd get if he names Hendo number 1 tomorrow, it'd be too much to handle. And there's all sorts going on at the club at the moment. You just don't need that.
No. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it before with goalkeepers at United. I mean, people always love to mock Taibbi, but when he first came to United, he actually got man of the match on his debut against Liverpool, and then you had the incident in Southampton. It was at home actually against Southampton. It just destroyed his confidence, and he just never recovered as a goalkeeper. And I think with Henderson as well, because he's young-ish as well, I'm not sure. I mean, you can make a mistake at Sheffield United, and no disrespect to them, but it's completely different if you do that at United. And De Gea did it for his first maybe season and a bit, I think, as well. He managed to cope with the pressure pretty well. But if Henderson does that, I'm not sure whether there's the time around anymore, because we had that under Ferguson. We had that sort of safety blanket where De Gea could afford to make those sort of mistakes because the team was pretty good. But if Henderson does that, then I'm not sure the atmosphere around the club at the minute is really designed for that sort of thing. So I think it's good if we stick with De Gea maybe for a season. If Henderson wants to stay at the club, then that's a good thing. You can play him in cup matches, maybe in a couple of Champions League matches as well if we've already qualified for the knockout stages and that sort of thing. But I'm not sure whether he should be starting every week. And also, I mean, we've still got Romero at the club as well. He's a pretty good, I think he's the best backup goalkeeper in the league. So it'd be interesting to see what happens to him.
In the world, ever.
In the world, forever. Before we get on to starting 11s and stuff like that, Crystal Palace, what do you know?
From Croydon.
From Croydon, yeah. Got a couple of footballers that play there.
Mark Bright's still there?
I don't think so.
How long's Roy Hodgson going to coach for?
Forever.
James,
Forever.
Do you know how long Roy Hodgson's been coaching for?
I'd say, since the late 70s?
77.
That's mad. So too long,
Right, I'm old, and he was coaching 6 years before I was born.
That's really
He's got a proper football manager journeyman Wikipedia page. If you ever visited some of the clubs.
He's had some unreal success as a manager. Unreal success. It was a while ago now, most of it. But I bet if you could actually have a fully off the record, go for a pint with him and be like, Roy, talk to me about fucking Switzerland in the 80s. Talk to me about Inter Milan.
Right. So here's this, right? Halmstad, 1976 to 1980. Right. This is all the teams he's managed. Bristol City, 1982. Oddvold, 1982. Aribo, Malmo, Zamax in Switzerland, the Swiss national team, Inter Milan, then straight to Blackburn Rovers, back to Inter Milan as caretaker manager.
Who the fuck goes Inter Milan to Blackburn?
Copenhagen, Udinese, the UAE national team, Viking, Finland, Fulham, Liverpool, West Brom, England under 21 caretaker, and now Crystal Palace. I mean, he's been all over the place, hasn't he?
It's a great
Hang on, Liverpool in the mix.
Yeah, Liverpool there as well. Madness.
Do you reckon he went there on purpose just to be as shit as possible? Because he was awful. He was shit at Liverpool, to be fair.
It was great, wasn't it?
But there was a lot of other stuff going on with Hicks and Gillette there at the time. But also he finished. I think he was only there until November, October.
I don't know, but it always seemed to me like there was very similar results early Klopp compared with Brendan Rodgers, eerily similar, and it was also the same under Dalglish and Henderson. But the way they were treated.
Yeah.
Every different manager with them has had a purely different thing. They've decided on their favourites and stuck with them whether they worked or they didn't. And Hodgson, it always felt like they just didn't want him.
Yeah. Whereas with Rodgers, they kind of stuck by him a bit. Same with Klopp. And, I mean, it's kind of shown all right if you stick by someone anyway. But, Crystal Palace set up 4-5-1, going to sit back. Zaha and Jordan Ayew are probably the two danger men for them. I said the other week, so I didn't really fancy Zaha coming back because he didn't score any goals, and then he scores on the opening week of the season. Who was it? They won 1-0 last week against...
I don't like Zaha. I honestly think the level he's supposed to be at is the level he's at Crystal Palace. I don't think he can handle the pressure at a big club. No one double marks you when you play for Crystal Palace. No one parks the fucking bus against Crystal Palace. No. I don't think he's got the ability to break down a parked defence. That being said, he probably scored against us this weekend. Yeah. And people are like, you said blah, blah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, it fucking happens. But we don't park the bus, mate. So we concede chances and we concede goals. Yeah. I don't think there's a player in Louis Zaha. Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah, so
I don't think there's a player there in the slightest.
They won 1-0 last weekend against Southampton. They then drew 0-0.
That was a surprise.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought Southampton would win that one. They then drew 0-0 and got knocked out of the League Cup after losing 11-10 on penalties to
They were shit against
Bournemouth.
They were well shit against Bournemouth.
They didn't play Zaha.
That's a relegated, weakened, sold every fucker Bournemouth.
Yeah, they didn't play Zaha, they didn't play Ayew, but they did play Batshuayi, Schlupp, Meyer, Milhoy. Yeah, so they didn't have a bad team out. But so they got knocked out in the week. Before we get on to predictions and stuff like that, starting 11s, James, what is your starting 11 going to be against Crystal Palace?
It's probably pretty similar actually to how United have kind of lined up, but it's just with our new signing in. So I'm going to go to Hayer in goal. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw is the back four. Beek and McTominay in midfield with James, Fernandes, Rashford and Martial. I'm not sure whether Pogba... I think Solskjaer would like to start Beek purely for the fact that it looks as if he's going to be maybe a bigger impact of a player than he might be just because we haven't signed anyone else. So I'm not sure whether he has much of a choice as to whether to start.
What was your forwards then, James?
So... I think United I think he'll play one up front. I think he'll play Martial, and I think he'll play James, Fernandes, and Rashford on as the three behind.
Okay. Mine, which might be a little bit similar to yours, is going to be De Gea in goal.
It's the fucking same.
It's the same, so I'll just go through it. De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Lindelof, and Shaw, which I think is pretty set. I don't think if there's anyone.
It will be a surprise if it's not them.
If it's not them, I think that.
Less so if it's Williams over Shaw, but. I think most of us are expecting that.
Yeah, I think the question of Abayi, I don't think he's fully fit. He's only just come back into the team. Obviously, the news this week that Mengi's been promoted up. Ollie spoke about him a bit this morning, but doesn't sound like he's going to be a regular start. He said, quote was, he'll probably play some games in the 23s this season when it's possible for him. He needs games at that stage regularly. So I don't think he's going to be starting every week, but he said he had a great game against Villa and should be training with us every week. So yeah, that back five I think will be the set one. We've then gone for Matic, Bruno and Van de Beek in midfield. I don't think Pogba's fully fit yet, coming back from coronavirus.
And this is why you have like Van de Beek in the squad, is that it's not an issue to throw him in. It's not a risk.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to suffer in quality. Not really.
Yeah.
So...
And then front three, Marcus Rashford played against Villa last week, fully fit. Martial obviously played for France last week. He looks good. And then we've gone for Mason Greenwood on the right-hand side, who I'm hoping... Like Beckham, 98-99 against Leicester, comes in.
Oh, fuck off. It's not that dramatic.
It's not, but at the same time...
He had a bit of slap and tickle in a hotel room.
But still...
If it was a scandal every time we had that, we'd never get anything done.
I know, but imagine if he comes in and scores a hat-trick on tomorrow, how good that'd be. And just has a shirt that says, fuck Southgate underneath it. And that'll be it. Great.
Okay, I'll just for the graphics' sake, I'll have to talk about the team.
Yeah.
I went with the exact same team Alex went with.
Yeah.
Van der Beek. The defence is the defence, right? That's probably the first choice defence. I would be shocked to see Bay in because not showing his fitness. It'd be great if he saw Mengi either on the bench. I don't think he makes a starting 11, but congratulations to him on his promotion into the first team. Williams is the easiest one out of all of that to be slotted in over Shaw. The midfield, I understand probably why James went with McTominay. I would have gone with Matic, I think.
Yeah.
I did go with Matic. I just think he's got much more progressive level of passing. That being said, though, Bruno and De Beek, there's some good passing in there. I went with Tony Marshall up front because he is our best striker. Marcus Rashford on the left. He's not fit. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Come on, use it.
I don't think he's fit.
Okay.
Let's just say it's my opinion that he's not fit. On the right, Mason Greenwood. And I'm not a fan of Dan James. I think he's an impact player at best. And you play players through stuff like this. You don't let Mason sulk. No. You let him. You go out there and show him. You bang who you want and you score goals. Right? That's what this football club was built on. Ryan Giggs, Shagger.
You can't get George Best in there.
Cantona, Shagger. Maybe not Gary Neville. Who else we got?
Best in the top
We got
corner.
George Best in the corner. Shagger. This is the football club that had Dwight York.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If we was gonna be like, no,
we can't be the piece.
you're up there, boy. No. That's what it's all about. So, for me, this is what people say. Oh, I want my footballers to be young role models. Do you, or do you just want them to be top at football? Because that's all I want. And the only person, apart from the COVID thing, I get that, I understand that. But I don't think there's a lot of restrictions in Iceland. Apart from the COVID thing, the only person who could potentially get mad is Mason's girl, which is fine. But more's been made out of Mason
can I just say,
than has been made out of Phil Foden.
Go on, James.
Just saying, right? The story should be about Phil Foden, the fact that he's got a girlfriend that's pregnant, instead the fact that he was going off with other girls there, but Greenwood was the one that got more stick. But even though what Foden did is far worse.
Because he plays for United.
He plays for United. Simple as that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, this football club, you're not a United fan if you've got an issue with our players being absolute swordsmen. This is the football club of George Best, Ryan Giggs, Dwight York. Do you know what I mean?
Moving on. James, what do you reckon? What are you thinking? Are you confident over tomorrow?
Banging
What's
balls
your
in the net on the pitch
prediction?
And banging. Yeah.
What's your score prediction, James, for tomorrow?
I think it's right. We did lose to Crystal Palace at home last season, but I think we're a very different side. I think maybe towards the start of last season, we struggled to break sides like Crystal Palace down. But I think because we've got the likes of Fernandes in the squad now.
And Van der Beek. Van der Beek's going to have a big part to play in that.
Yeah, exactly. And Van der Beek as well. We can unlock defences a lot more. And we saw it towards the end of last season. United beat Crystal Palace away. And it was a lot more comfortable. So I think if United show up, then they should be able to win pretty comfortably 2-3-0. I don't really think Crystal Palace pose any sort of threat. I think that, to be honest, I think Crystal Palace fans are probably just to be happy in the Premier League because they're pretty much a yo-yo club between the Premier League and the Championship pretty much throughout their entire history. So I think if United win this 2-3-0, it should be a comfortable win.
I remember the
Palace, like you say, apart from Zaha, who you were saying isn't actually as good as people say I'm not really sure they've got much going forward. I mean, Benteke barely scores in any games that he plays in.
Oh, no.
Ayew you can stop him. And that's kind of it, really, isn't it?
They're just ordinary, aren't they?
Yeah. Steve, what are you thinking? Score prediction?
3-0 United.
Like the confidence. I'm going to go 3-1.
Some call it delusion, Alex.
It might be. You never know. I'm going 3-1. I reckon.
It's all about 3.
It's all about 3.
3 wins. Paddock reserves. United. 3 points. 3 triple rums. Make the drive home interesting.
There we go. That'll be that.
Obviously, I don't advocate drinking and driving.
Which you will not be.
Because you'll spill it. So, get a train or a taxi and get minging.
Drinkresponsibly.com.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Cheers for tuning in. Write
drink
your
aware,
descriptions.
actually, that was it.
Shut up.
Wasn't drink,
right?
not drink
Write your predictions in the comments below. Let us know if you disagree with James's team prediction, because obviously not ours. Ours was flawless. But if you do disagree with anything that we've said, no one cares. So cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Go check out some of James's writing that we've done over on the Stretford Paddock Sports Illustrated page. There's all sorts of good stuff on there as well. Also got a new lad that started writing for us, Venki, who's written basically a dissertation on this game. If you'd like to go and check that out, it's almost as long as the guy's name. So go and have a look at that one, and we will see you guys for the game tomorrow, bright and early at light tea time. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.